SNAP food assistance benefits are slated to expire this week on November 1st because the program's administrative runway has become exhausted due to the government shutdown. Now, the human stakes for this are absolutely massive. 42 million Americans rely on SNAP benefits to feed themselves and feed their families. And despite the fact that the Trump administration absolutely has the capability to keep this program going, they are refusing to do it and taking a new unimaginable step of cruelty into this shutdown fight. I want to play a quick clip that gives a rundown of what things are looking like if these SNAP benefits run out. That was on Good Morning America this morning. Let's play that first.
This morning, more than 40 million people, that's roughly 1 in every 8 Americans, are bracing to see their food assistance run out later this week, creating a food crisis some experts say could be the worst since the Great Depression, all because of the government shutdown. The U.S. Agriculture Department, which administers the SNAP or Food Snap program, announcing, quote, the well has run dry.
Everyone's worried that, they're not going to be able to feed their families.
Now, I want to point something out quickly, which is that when the government shutdown started at the beginning of October, the USDA, which manages the SNAP food program, the USDA guidance in their shutdown plan said that keeping the SNAP program running was imperative. They said that they planned to do it, and they said that they had contingency funds to keep the program running if there was a prolonged government shutdown. So the original guidance from the USDA said that they were going to do that. Now, so they can try to stick it to Democrats and starve the American people, they pulled that guidance from their website, even though you can go find, little snippets of it online that showed this was clearly a policy of theirs last month before the shutdown started. They have pulled that because they are trying to hurt Democrats into caving on this shutdown. And they're holding food hostage from the American people to do that. Even in the 2018-2019 shutdown, which still remains the longest shutdown in history and was an unprecedented length of time when it took place back then, even back then, the USDA, which runs SNAP, was able to use contingency funds during that shutdown to continue to fund the SNAP program. There is a playbook to do this. But the Republicans and the USDA keep saying, well, Democrats must end this shutdown to free the funds. That's not true. A choice is being made on their part to hold food aid hostage as leverage in a broader fight over the shutdown and over the spending. And it's despicable. It is while we are watching this, we're watching the big, beautiful bill give tax cuts to billionaires and wealthy Republican donors. We're watching this $250 million ballroom get built, at the White House. And we're watching Trump bail out the Argentinian economy to the tune of $40 billion, which could fund several months of the SNAP program. Apparently, the Trump administration can do all of that, but they can't fund food for people in need. Now, Democrats are doing the best they can to respond to this. Governor Maura Healey of Massachusetts has been very vocal the past couple weeks about trying to find a solution and some sort of stopgap for the time being to keep feeding hungry people in need. And I want to play a clip of that she was talking to reporters last week, and want to play a clip of kind of what she had to say about the state of play and what Donald Trump is doing in this situation.
Donald Trump is the first president in U.S. history. Donald Trump is the first president in U.S. history to cut off SNAP benefits to people in America. So as of the end of next week, SNAP benefits are going to be frozen. They go away. And that affects millions and millions of people in America and certainly in Massachusetts. We're currently evaluating what we can do. Obviously, it's a time to give as much as you can to our food pantries who do a wonderful job. I'll be meeting with my anti-hunger strike force that I stood up a while ago to talk more with them about what we can do to feed families here. But it's unbelievable. The first time in American history that a president, during a shutdown, has cut off food to families. That's what's happening right now. It's a choice that Donald Trump is making. He can choose to reverse that. I strongly urge him to do so. Don't take food away from people. Don't take food off the table of Americans.
There's just no humanity in a decision like this. And something else Healy has talked about is the fact that 89% in her state, 89% of SNAP recipients are children, seniors, and people with disabilities. Of that remaining, 11%, a significant portion of those people are also working full-time jobs and are still not even working full-time jobs are still in need of food assistance because they cannot make enough money to put food on their table right now. So these are people. I think what you're going to see is on the Republican side too. You're going to have people talk about fraud in the SNAP program and people using tax dollars to get food while not working. That's not true. A significant number of these people, are children and seniors and people with disabilities, but you also have people who are on the program who are working and still need them. And so I think that the frustration with that is you're going to see that Republican talking point, and they're going to paint people who need food assistance, who are in need, as somehow leeching off the system. And it's ridiculous. Even the USDA under the Trump administration this year bragged about the fact that they have a 95 to 96% payment accuracy when they make SNAP payments to people. And they also bragged that they have 98 to 99% of eligibility accuracy in the SNAP program, that confirms that people are qualified to be on the program. So the current administration has bragged about that. So if you hear these talking points about fraud in the SNAP program, you can point out the fact that the administration earlier this year bragged about their own success running this program because it is necessary, particularly right now in the age of inflation. And so, it is good to see Maura Healey out there talking about this, and the governor of Colorado, Jared Polis, also is out there talking about ways that he's trying to mitigate the impact about what's coming. Let's take a look at that.
We're here because the federal government is shut down. On November 1st, 600,000 hardworking Coloradans, about half of whom were children, will not get their SNAP benefits to buy food with. That's why today we're requesting up to $10 million in emergency funding from the Joint Budget Committee to support the increased demand for food banks and pantries to help close the gap to make sure people can get the food they need to feed themselves. We want to do everything we can to help hardworking Coloradans get the food they need. We have a role to play to fill the gap created by the closure of the federal government. So let's work together to make sure that no one goes hungry in the state of Colorado.
Now, I'm seeing a lot of blue state governors out there trying to figure out how to keep providing food to people in need during this shutdown. I have not seen a single red state governor that's out there doing the same. And I think part of this too is the fact that Donald Trump is gleeful about what is happening, and you've seen him out there multiple times over the past couple of weeks talking about how he is going to make this shutdown as painful for Democrats as he can by cutting different programs. And the point of this is when these programs get cut, it doesn't hurt just Democrats. A lot of these programs actually disproportionately contribute to red states, more so than they do blue states. But if they're programs that seem to benefit people, Donald Trump labels them as programs for Democrats and says he wants to cut them. So I do want to play a clip that he gave, or in an interview he gave with Fox News recently, where he talked about just that. Let's take a look.
I think they could just stay out forever. I mean, to be honest with you. Now, what we're doing is we're cutting Democrat programs that we didn't want because, I mean, they made one mistake. They didn't realize that gives me the right to cut programs that Republicans never wanted. Giveaways, welfare programs, et cetera. And we're doing that, and we're cutting them permanently. We're cutting a $20 billion project that Schumer fought for 15 years to get. And I'm cutting the project. The project is going to be dead. It is pretty much dead right now.
Cutting welfare and giveaways is what he said. When he talks about those programs and he talks about Democrat programs, he means these overwhelmingly popular social safety net programs that provide assistance for tens, if not hundreds of millions of Americans across, Medicaid, Medicare, and SNAP benefits. I mean, what you're going to see this week is a lot of these Republicans out there pretending like they're so heartbroken and like they really care about the health of the SNAP program and helping out the people who utilize that benefit. Meanwhile, those same Republicans are the ones who voted for $200 billion of cuts to SNAP programs in the big beautiful bill. These people do not care about this program. They care about hurting Democrats, and they don't want Democrats to win in this shutdown because that might require them to rethink the tax cuts and how they're going to fund the tax cuts to billionaires and their super wealthy donors. And so you're going to see that on one side this week, but just remember the fact that those are the same people who voted to cut the program in the first place. And this is just a level of cruelty that is unimaginable. We are going to have Americans and families who, begin to starve because they can't afford groceries anymore. And it's going to be because of this program. And, no shutdown should get in the way of something like that and should get in the way of feeding families. And while the administration acts like it's Democrats' fault and like there is no way that they can possibly do anything to fund the program to keep people from going hungry, that is a lie. We've seen them do it before. We know the administration is capable of doing it. They did it in the 2018 to 2019 shutdown, and it is time for them to do it again because this shouldn't be a partisan issue. Americans being able to feed themselves is something everybody can get on board with. That is it for me today. If you liked what you saw, put a like on this video, follow the Dem Wins Media YouTube channel, follow me at buildingthebench.substack.com, and we will keep bringing you the news as you need to see it. Thanks for watching.